In a world where everyone and their brother has a podcast, one stands alone. It's been called one of the podcasts of all time. Welcome to Internet Killed the Video Store.
Started watching New Boys.
Did you?
Oh, yeah?
Started watching season 2 of The Boys. I'm getting there.
I fucking told you. So me and Max are right, though, on The Boys.
Yeah.
And Nate Green. Shout out to Nate Green.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
I'm going to be shouting out Nate Green.
There you go. I didn't necessarily doubt you. I know superhero fatigue is a term that's been thrown around a lot. I just didn't know if I had the bandwidth for a season or multiple seasons worth of superhero stuff at the time. But now that I'm in it, I'm like, okay. And even this, like, it took me a little while to get going. But I think the episode where they're at, like, the Faith Convention or whatever, that was when I bought in. I was like, okay, this is a good show. I like this.
It's been so long. What was the Faith Convention?
It was like the 4th or 5th episode where Starlight goes to this like big religious convention that she always used to go to as a kid, and she's kind of looking around like, this is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, reflecting on
and she has like a big speech about how the Deep forced himself on her.
Oh, yeah.
Which, it starts off real rough, but then they make fun of the Deep a lot, so then I feel better about that horse storyline.
Yeah, I forgot. That pilot does have some pretty repulsive stuff in it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You just have to like barrel into it.
There's a couple old shows we started at the same time. It was that and The Americans. The Americans has some stuff where it's like, everybody's fucking everybody, huh?
I thought you guys bailed off of that.
We
back
did.
in it?
No, Americans is done.
Is it that fucked up that you can't watch it?
I mean, it's not that fucked up. It's just kind of like, it's the same thing with Mad Men for me, where I'm just like, okay, everybody's just going to have sex with everybody all the time. And like, I don't know. It's hard for me to get around that. It's like, okay, that's what's going to drive the story, instead of like, I guess, violence or whatever, charging the spy show like I thought it was going to be. It's just going to be them like seducing all these people to get government secrets.
Dude,
pretty constantly.
Mad Men. I seen an episode or two but never got into it, but I know people were like fucking obsessed.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I liked it, but then like, around like season 2 or 3, I'm like, okay, he's still just gonna like fuck everybody. All right. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, he just cheated on his wife all the time, right?
Yeah, right. And that one was a little more frivolous than The Americans, where obviously there is like a plot of espionage going on and them being like undercover Soviet agents in the U.S. Watching it, I'm just like, I want this shit to be declassified. I want to know what was really going on in the 80s. It's one of those things where it's like, I need the documentary version. Like, this is all cool, but
so
I want the truth.
Only season 2 on The Boys.
So far, yeah.
Just wait till you hit Herogasm.
Herogasm season 3, right? I saw they're getting review bombed from a bunch of alt-writers. They're all angry that it's political, and they're like, this has always been political, though.
Yeah, but it's a little more blatant at this point, though.
Yeah.
I will say. I can see if you were an alt-writer, like, how you would be annoyed.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a little more subtle.
Yeah.
In the other seasons, where, like, you had to connect the dots. Where, like, this season, they're just like, yes, this is what we're doing. Have you watched any of the new season?
No, but you're saying it's a little too on the nose, like the
political overtones, kind of.
It was already getting pretty close, like in season 3.
But now, instead of like reading between the lines and them, you're like, oh, this is definitely about this. Probably it's right now. It's like, yes, this is what it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's election year.
We're not even gonna try to hide it.
Right.
I think they were just like amped up to do their election year season, but
it's almost following the American, like exactly what's going on in America, like to a T, to where it's starting to feel like less fictitious superhero, like what would happen in a capitalistic thing versus like, let's just do a full on like satire of QAnon people this season.
Yeah.
But still good.
It's almost like we're at the point where how do you think of the more insane thing to do than the QAnon?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and at some point it's like, you've done so much of what's already happened. How do you get out in front and predict how much crazier it's going to get instead of just mirroring what's actually going on?
Yeah, because they were pretty like...
prophetic.
Prophetic. There you go. I like that.
Did you see that Tubi had its biggest month ever?
No. What?
Yep.
Wait, I always get Tubi mixed up with Quibi. So
Tubi is the like free streaming service.
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
watch ads and they've got movies for days.
which is a lot more reasonable than Quibi.
Biggest month ever in May, surpassed Disney Plus, Max, Paramount, Peacock, all of them. It was only second to Netflix.
Wow.
But yeah, it's great. I watched a couple movies on there.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of stuff. I feel like all the streamers like are all so TV heavy that like that's the only place I can go if I want to find a movie. Or at least a movie that's been released like after 2010 or before 2010.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Yeah. Because I feel like Netflix does have a decent amount of movies that you can watch on there.
Yeah, they've got a few. I forget what I was looking for. I think it was the Christopher Guest stuff. They had a bunch of that on there for free. Like
Okay.
Waiting for Guffman and
Yeah.
For Your Consideration, I think was on there. So that stuff's great. I always love that.
Yeah. Nice.
Did you guys listen to the new Eminem single, Houdini?
Is that the one he made the music video for? Because I
don't
watched
know.
some
Did
music.
he make it?
I don't know. I saw.
Or yeah, sorry. I thought you meant literally like he made it, like he shot it and yeah, that's
Not necessarily, but
it's
no.
got the abracadabra sample. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's kind of rough.
I can't believe how popular it is. They said it's the number or like fastest selling single of the year.
Yeah.
And it's not getting radio play. It's not getting support anywhere.
The YouTube
shit.
video had like 80 million views or something.
Yeah. Quicker
Wow.
than Taylor, Beyonce, everybody.
Yeah.
I can't believe he has that much of a pull still. Like he's done 3 albums in the last 10 years.
Yeah. I don't know.
At least he's not overdoing it. I'd prefer that. Is it good? Do you guys like it?
No, I don't like it.
It's closer to what he used to do, but nothing's been as good as like his first 4 records.
Yeah.
It's like the Force Awakens of Eminem.
It is, yeah.
Like
That's still not awful though.
Eh.
Is it?
I meant it.
You
in
guys are
like
Star Wars people.
I meant it on like a bad, when I'm
Yeah.
in a bad mood. Force Awakens versus
Not
like
Force Awakens opening night. Force Awakens 5 years later.
Force
Okay.
Awakens post Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I also realized the breakup with Eminem and my interest in Eminem kind of happened with his producing. Like he hasn't produced a lot of his own stuff since, what was that, Encore? And now it's like a bunch of current guys. Just Blaze and Khalil do a lot of his stuff. And I don't know. I just don't think he sounds good in like contemporary beats. I like his signature style coupled with Dre, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that's when he sounds best. So I hope there's more of that because he's allegedly like retiring the Slim Shady persona with this new album. So I think that was the reason like he did all the Easter eggs and stuff in the video for this to say like, one last time I'm going to dye my hair blonde and all that shit. But
Right.
I don't know. Hopefully it's better than the single because
Yeah.
the single wasn't great.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was hoping he was going to be on that Riot Fest bill. I was starting to throw out all kinds of theories, but
Oh yeah, they were like driving us bonkers.
for it to be Beck and Fall Out Boy, I was pretty underwhelmed.
Yeah, not going this year. I don't think.
Definitely not. So did you see that Max has like established a massive lead in this box office draft?
No.
Inside Out 2 is the biggest opening since Barbie. Second biggest animated opening ever.
Was that your first pick?
No, that was like his 6th pick.
There's no way it was 6th pick.
It was
'cause
6th overall.
I would have picked it.
You had a shot at it. You went with Fall Guy and Beetlejuice.
That's stupid.
And I chose Garfield. I got too personal.
Fall
Pixar
Guy-
burned me last year, so I went with Garfield.
Yeah,
Fall
right,
Guy
that
was stupid.
The elemental thing that scared you off.
Yep.
right?
I was sequel.
So who's in last place?
You are right now, but you only have one movie, to your credit.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, you only have the Fall Guy. I have Garfield and Furiosa. That's the only reason I'm ahead of you. And Max
Should've picked
has
Inside Out 2.
Inside Out 2, Planet of the Apes, and
Bad Boys. A lot of my
Bad
stuff
Boys.
is out.
Yeah,
Yo, they are promoting the fuck out of Bad Boys.
yeah,
It's got some legs.
It's
I heard it was fun. I heard that Christopher Nolan saw it.
yeah.
what?
I'm serious.
Did he lose a bet? Why?
Dude was a bet.
Dude, he loves movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I haven't seen Martin Lawrence in anything.
Just Bad Boys movies.
Just Bad Boys
He was in the
movies.
last Bad Boys. That was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I tried rewatching the Bad Boys, and I was like, it kind of talked me out of wanting to see the new one.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Beverly Hills Cop. I was like, I used to like this movie, but the gimmick is just he lies to people. That's it.
That's it?
He just lies.
That's the gimmick?
Eddie Murphy lies. There's a good soundtrack. That's it.
Yeah.
We watched the first one, and me and my wife were like ready to watch all 3. She's like, do we have to watch the other 2? I was like, that's the best one. That's the sad thing. So
That's the best one.
we can
That's the
bail.
sad thing.
Oh man.
We were talking a little bit about Inside Out. What are your like top 5 Pixar movies?
I probably haven't seen as many as I should have, because I've heard there's been a lot of good ones that have came out like since I was an adult that I just didn't go see.
For sure.
Because I was like, oh, I'm not watching like kids movies anymore without realizing.
I had that phase.
Yeah. Toy Story, that's Pixar, right?
Toy Story's classic. That's got to be in there.
Yeah. Lion King's not Pixar, right?
No. Maybe this is just the graphic design nerd in me, but you can tell the difference when they're doing computer animated and like hand drawn, right?
3D versus
Yeah, I
2D.
think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe not though. I put Inside Out in there. It was pretty good.
Hell yeah.
Shit. I heard I liked Pinocchio. That's not Pixar, is it?
No.
Pinocchio's good, but that's old as hell.
Way old, yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I can't do this because I don't know what's Pixar. Let me listen to you guys.
Say, Max, what do you got?
Like, which one are we doing? Top 5 or best? Because
Let's go top 5.
It's going to be very different.
Because those will be different, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to do these in a particular order, but Inside Out is great. WALL-E. I'm a WALL-E defender. I know that's not like a super popular one.
Who doesn't like WALL-E?
I don't know.
That's my favorite. That's the best.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
I love that movie.
I like WALL-E.
That's great.
That's my favorite.
I'm so happy to hear that because I've heard some hate for it over the years, or not hate, but just like disappointment and like, oh, the first half was so good and then it just gets boring, and I didn't feel that way at all.
No, the second half's when they meet all the fat blob people. That's even
better.
better.
Do something. You can't just keep doing that for the whole movie.
Right.
I mean, anyways, Up.
Up's great.
Up's good.
See,
Yeah.
Up is where I would use the WALL-E criticism of like, I liked the beginning and then the ending I kind of fell off.
Yeah,
The beginning's pretty strong.
That is what
It's
everyone
hard to
remembers
maintain.
about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's good. Yeah,
I
definitely.
love that one.
What's DreamWorks?
DreamWorks is like Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon,
But they're not Disney?
Kung Fu Panda. No.
It's a different studio.
Different studio? Okay.
Yeah.
There's like Pixar, Disney Animation, which is also another wrinkle in this.
Yeah.
And then DreamWorks.
'Cause
Okay.
Disney and Pixar are technically separate, but
Yes.
Disney owns Pixar,
Right.
but they operate like independently within it.
Where was I? Up.
So we got Up, WALL-E,
Incredibles.
I haven't seen that, and I know that's a
Really?
Brad Bird one, so I need to.
It's
but
great.
Yeah.
It's great. The music is great. It's kind of like more of a ensemble because it's about a family. So
Right.
there's like 5 characters or whatever that you're spending time with, which is fun in like a family cartoon or animated type thing.
Right.
And then last is really tough. It's kind of like a tie between Soul and Onward. I think I'm going to go Onward.
I never saw
actually.
that one. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I like that one.
Was it Chris Pratt and
Probably.
somebody else? I can't remember.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a
Tom Holland.
yeah,
I think that's it.
There you go. I was going to say a Jay Baruchel type, but
Yeah.
that's close enough.
That's close.
Yeah. They can, be interchangeable. Yeah, I'll go with Onward
Okay.
instead of Soul. I like Soul for like mostly for how well the characters are animated while they're playing instruments. I just
Yeah.
think that's really cool to actually be accurate about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Onward, definitely another underrated one.
Yeah.
But it kind of has like some D&D like adventure flavor to it, and it's also about like brothers, which
Yeah.
I can be kind of a sucker for sometimes. So
Gotcha.
yep.
Yeah, that came out like right when the pandemic started, I think. I think
Probably.
it got forgotten and all that.
I could see that.
Yeah, I think the only one I'd throw into the mix would probably be Ratatouille.
Oof.
I like that one.
I had to cut that from my list.
Yeah.
Realizing that it's been a while since I've seen it, so I didn't really feel like it was fair to. But it is, if we're talking like best,
Yeah.
what I think everyone would say, popular opinion, I would definitely go Ratatouille.
Yeah, when we put it out to the polls, that was the one we got back the most, was Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is
Pretty-
good.
That was the winner?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Was it really?
pretty overwhelmingly, yeah.
It's a good one, dude.
It's good.
And again, I people watched it at first and I had no interest, and it took me like a couple years. I had to like be more of an adult to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's interesting that you say that, because that is kind of like a complaint about Pixar in more recent years, is like at a certain point they started making movies for the adults that grew up watching
Yeah.
the
Interesting.
movies they made originally. And I thought that when I watched Inside Out,
Yeah.
the original recently, I was like, I mean, this would be fun as a kid, but the stuff they're talking about is like
Yeah.
much more for parents.
It kind of goes over their heads for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. When it first came out, it got so much praise. I had to go watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Max got out to a huge lead last year with Spider-Verse and Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Ben caught up to him. But I don't know if we've got enough bullets in the chamber this
Dude,
summer.
I don't think so.
He doesn't even have Despicable Me 3 on the board yet.
Oh,
Or
we're
Despicable Me
fucked.
4. His number one pick's still sitting there.
Dude, Fall Guy, I basically could have just not picked anything and had the...
I mean, unless Beetlejuice or Deadpool really just like
They're promoting the shit out of Deadpool, too.
resets the market, then I think we're both screwed.
Wait.
Those are the two that I am like most nervous about. I wake up in the middle
Who's
of the
got-
night and I'm like, Twisters!
Who has Deadpool?
I have Deadpool. That was my number one pick.
Yeah, they're promoting the shit out of that, too.
It looks pretty good. Ben has
Twisters.
I'm
okay,
fucking
so
regret
each of
that.
you have one. I don't know, dude.
Twisters looks good.
You think it looks
excited,
good?
yeah.
You are not.
I love Twister, man.
I know you love Twister.
He just bought the DVD.
I did.
I know you love the original.
Glenn Powell. He's so hot right now.
Kevin
He is hot right now. Did you guys watch that Hitman movie?
I did, yeah.
What did you think of that?
It was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I liked it.
A Richard Linklater movie.
Yeah, which you never know what Linklater's going to do.
Yeah,
You know?
It was cool. I don't know. I feel like it was one of those where the true story angle of it kind of like pulled me out of it more than it like enhanced the story.
Oh, see, I think I forgot almost instantly, which helped my enjoyment of the film because I hate that stuff.
Well, I didn't know it until like the end credits. It's just like, so all that happened except for the murder part. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why did you put that in there? That was weird.
I'm just going to ignore.
Just ignore it.
Yeah.
But he's
It's like,
great.
It's
I mean-
okay to just be like inspired by
Yeah.
something. You don't have to always like put some bullshit at the beginning where it's like based slightly on
Most of this happens,
something that
right.
someone told me.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's called Hitman.
Yeah.
It's good.
Was it just released?
Yep.
I think you'll like it.
A couple
Can I
weeks ago.
fucking
Yeah.
find it? There's so many movies called Hitman.
What else
guys.
has Glenn Powell been in? He was in that Sydney Sweeney
He's in the
rom-com.
fucking Top Gun sequel.
Yeah.
That's where Ben's going to know him from.
Right. Yeah, I was just trying to think of other ones besides that.
Dude, Sydney Sweeney came out of nowhere too. She's like getting big.
Euphoria,
Well, everyone
man.
liked that rom-com with them, even though it's
That's what
supposed to
it
be like a
was.
terrible movie. It's like
Yeah.
it's still something that a lot of people watch because Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney are in it.
I didn't know that she was in Euphoria.
I think that's where everybody kind of followed her from. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in Madam Web.
Yeah, she was in
Was
Madam
she?
Web. Yeah. So was Adam Scott. Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
Why?
He said
Because
why?
I knew it was going to be bad.
It was so bad. Like, historically bad. I don't remember the last time I've seen one that bad.
I thought it was fun though.
What?
Yeah, I thought it was fun because it was so bad. Like that is a rare level of bad movie. Like, you know, up there with Malignant and The Room and
the room, Malignant in the Room. You put in the same category?
Yeah, definitely.
No way. I've never seen Malignant, but I know it can't
it's
be
the
as bad as
same
the
like
Room.
instinct. It's just like you're much further into that impulse when you're watching The Room.
It's good when you got
Or
like
actually-
a fun bad and not like a boring bad.
It's almost like it takes more of it to go through something like a Madam Web or a Malignant. You know, everyone can find the fun in The Room because it's so obviously bad. But
Yeah.
like every once in a while, you get a good bad movie. We used to have a good bad movie night, and it was just like it didn't last long because there's no.
It's hard to get the right balance.
Yeah, for sure.
Madam Web was terrible. That was
You didn't have any fun watching it. Like you
No.
didn't laugh at how bad it. What about the scene where they're dancing on the table? Come on.
at the end where they're like trying to figure out ways to have them fight the villain, but none of them have powers. That was funny. They're like, oh shit, let's go to a factory full of fireworks and hit him
Yeah.
with a car, and like
Literal fireworks factory, which is like a cinema term.
every fucking possible obstacle they can find. But no, none of these people have superpowers in this superhero movie.
What's the lead's name? Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
She's such a strange actor.
Isn't she a Nepo
She's like-
baby? 'Cause she kind of like comes out and talks a lot of shit about the bad movies she's in. And I feel like nobody else gets away with that because she's got a famous parent. She can.
Dakota Johnston?
Yeah.
Melanie Griffith and is it the Don Johnson? It is.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
why she can tell Ellen to fuck off and nobody says anything.
I mean, maybe. There's a lot of nepo babies in Hollywood. I don't
What's
know.
that
if I
mean?
wanna-
They got famous
Nepotism.
Oh,
parents.
nepotism.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have done 50 Shades of Grey if she fucking like didn't have to.
No.
That had to be pretty rough watching back.
I think her personality is great. Like, I love her telling people off, and
Yeah.
basically in every movie she's like fucking Natalie Portman in the Star Wars prequels. It's just like, I don't want to be here, and I don't care if people know it.
Speaking of good bad movies, have you guys ever seen the original Roadhouse?
No.
I watched that for the first time. That is a great bad movie.
With Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, he rips a dude's throat out.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
It's incredible.
That's
Such a
cool.
good bad movie.
Nice. I'll check that one out. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, for sure. All right, do we want to do new records?
Yes.
What'd you listen to? Charli? It's
Brat.
fucking great, man.
Yeah.
I loved it. I hate this about myself where like I sat there listening for things not to like, and there'd be a song where I'm like, I think she slipped up here, and then like something cool would happen. I'm like, no, fuck, this one rules too.
Yeah.
They're all good.
Dude, I love it. It's a whole album of bangers.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Like,
and you
it's
have
just
to listen
solid.
to with headphones too to hear all the details she puts into the production. Like,
Yeah.
so fucking good, and just like pushing the boundary of like club music and pop in a way
Right.
that nobody has in a while.
Yeah, the production is insane. It's definitely my favorite pop, or like, I feel like she is kind of like a synth pop artist, like,
Yeah.
if we want to put her in a subgenre, but even with that, she's my favorite. It's like my favorite pop album of the year. I just feel like she's so in control of her style, and
Yeah.
like
Uninhibited.
uninhibited,
Just does
so
whatever.
confident, so
Yeah.
comfortable. Also like funny, like doesn't seem
Right.
There's some like super unserious stuff on this
Yeah.
album, which just feels great.
It's goofy, it's fun, but it also kicks ass. Like
Yes.
it's so, I don't know, like you said, confident.
Yes. I feel like you can hear a lot more of her accent on this album too
Yeah.
than the last one, which I like, just as kind of a small note. But yeah, as far as like being confident and in control and whatnot, like the record is definitely kind of reckoning with that a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize this was her 6th album.
Yeah.
You know? And she's kind of like, she's not a superstar, and she's acknowledging that on the record and kind of being like, I don't know if I really want that, you know, and maybe this is just where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
To me, she's too good for the superstar bullshit. So I think I like this even better than, what was the last album
Crash.
called? Crash.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
And like, I miss some of the dirty and like grimy and funkiness of that record.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like that one would be more appropriately named Brat. I feel
Yeah.
like she was brattier on that.
Yeah.
And I was maybe missing some of that sass a little bit, but like, I'm ultimately just happy to have this record because you can still get that from her older record, you know, at least
Yeah.
from Crash. Like, I can still get the brattier Charli. And yeah, dude, I'm just going to be listening to this stuff all summer. Like, this is the summer album now.
100%. Yeah, I think I go to some of Crash's singles, maybe, like a few select songs more often.
Yep.
But I've listened to this whole album through more than anything else I've probably got this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. It's one of those I can just start over as soon as it's done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said pretty early on it was going to be hard for anyone to top Chelsea Wolfe.
Yeah.
Are you
I was
Charli
thinking
or
about
Chelsea?
that. They're both top 5 right now. It's really close, but I was thinking that earlier. Like, dang, she might overtake Chelsea Wolfe.
Yeah.
I obviously have not had as much time with the Charli album.
What was your favorite standout here on Brat?
It starts off like great. 360. The first song is really great. I Might Say Something Stupid, I thought was a really cool ballad, and
Yeah.
kind of like talks about some of the thematic stuff that I was talking about. Talk or Girl So Confusing are
Yeah.
like my favorites, I think.
Yeah.
And I like the like 365 revisit to 360 at the end,
Yeah.
but with like kind of,
The cool beat switch at the end.
it
and,
goes
yeah.
in, it's a crazy version of it, but it's
Yeah.
cool. And I like that she kind of has 2 different versions of the same song.
Yeah.
A lot of people would be afraid to do that, you know, and
Right.
it could turn out super cheesy, but she pulled it off.
Yeah, it's very like focused, concentrated way to encapsulate your album, and like this, yeah, the whole thing just feels like such a well orchestrated collection of songs.
What were the standouts for you?
I think my favorite's probably "Sympathy Is a Knife."
Yeah.
That third one, that one really stands out. At first, I really didn't like the single much, but like the more I heard it, the more I liked it. Von Dutch.
Oh, okay.
I think that was what she let out of the gate with. And like the first time I heard it, it was like, okay, it's a little repetitive, blah blah blah, but Yeah, it's in my head all the time now. Yeah. It's great. I started playing this free Warner Brothers game.
Oh, yeah?
Did you hear about it? MultiVersus?
Oh, what? You're playing that?
Oh, yeah. A lot. I'm super into it.
Oh, no.
And they're defiling the Iron Giant legacy again because he's beating people up in this like Smash Brothers style game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like whoever the creators got annoyed, like he disappeared from the game for like a week. They like took him out.
Oh, wow.
And now he's back in.
He's back. License agreement resolved.
Yeah, right. So it's all Warner Brothers people, Scooby-Doo, Batman, House of the Dragon, all fighting each other in the Smash Brothers game.
Gotcha.
Oof.
Right.
LeBron's in it.
Let's go.
His special maneuvers to call for a foul. Not
That's
even
funny
joking.
As fuck.
Damn.
That is so funny.
I'm so glad.
He made Space Jam for them and they just like fucking slam him with that?
That's your special move.
But do they have to get his permission to do that?
They would to use his likeness.
Yeah,
surely.
I mean, they're using
Unless
his
he
name.
like accidentally
Did he
signed
sell
it
his
over
name over?
to-
Because, I mean, it's not Christian Bale Batman. It's just like cartoon Batman. But LeBron's LeBron. I mean.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You guys know what Pal World is?
No.
It's like Pokemon with guns. Like, actually. They look so close to the Pokemon characters, but then they're just holding, like, guns. It's so strange to me.
You just train them to shoot each other? Or
I don't know really how.
I've never heard of that one.
I think the gameplay is pretty similar. So, yeah, presumably you're training them to use guns.
So that Warner Brothers has MultiVersus, which is like a free game. You just download it, and then they like have all these microtransactions just littered in there because that's the new platform everybody's rolling out. But then Disney has one called Speedstorm, where it's like Mario Kart but a bunch of Disney characters.
Okay.
So yeah, I just play them both constantly.
That's
I've
cool.
been into both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got like Inside Out tracks right now for Disney. Like that's their season or whatever going on.
Cool.
But then it just becomes like a game within a game for me because I want to see how much free shit I can unlock without paying anything, even though they're trying to charge me $5 to download Wally. But I'm not going to do it because if I win 2 more races, get them for free.
That's so funny. I don't think that's how those games are supposed to.
It's not
supposed to work. Like it's supposed to get people with like the gambling type personality, not the people that are like, I'm going to show you.
No, it's supposed
how little money I spent.
I thought it was supposed to be like, let's trick all these kids to be like, yeah, you can have this. Just click the button. And then their parents are like, why did you spend $900 on the PlayStation account?
Right.
Because, yeah, everything is upcharged out the ass.
Yeah.
Not everything, dude. I mean,
for those 2 games,
but let's like make a clear distinction that like it's the AAA video game companies that are pushing the microtransaction bullshit because they're run by people that don't understand video games, you know?
So how excited are you for this Elden Ring DLC coming out?
Well, you
prepared.
You walked in on me gaming earlier, which is,
Oh, no.
It's a vulnerable position.
Dude.
Yeah. Don't look.
Don't look, I'm gaming.
I gotta get my character ready for this DLC. It's supposed to be real badass. Honestly, guys, like, yeah, it's not often that I'm like counting down the literal days for something to come out.
Yeah.
But that's how excited I am for Shadow of the Erdtree. So
Explain to me why it is earth-shattering, like best game of a generation. Because if I think of like landmark games, I'm thinking of like Grand Theft Auto, The Sims, like stuff that kind of shift the paradigm for video games. So what does this do?
Tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I think it's kind of, in a way, it is getting back to some of the stuff that was originally attractive about video games that I think some of the stuff you mentioned like has lost in some ways, at least for certain people. Like there is like this push towards the kind of like simulation type experience, like, and that's what I think of with like Grand Theft Auto and a game like Cyberpunk, which I like both of those games, but it is becoming less of the thing I seek out. With the stuff that like Elden Ring and this studio From Software, the stuff they make is very like you're just in control. You're playing the game most of the time. There's not a lot of like cutscenes sitting around talking. I jumped back into Cyberpunk and I was in the middle of a cutscene and it wasn't progressing and it was pissing me off, and I'm like, what is happening here? Why is this not going? And then I look and I didn't realize my quest objective has changed and it says lean on the car. The game is literally stopped they're so determined for it to look cool that they make you lean on the fucking car. Like, that is not the type of shit that you have to deal with in games like Elden Ring. It's not holding the player's hand, which I think is becoming also a more important thing to me, to just like kind of be more almost like collaborative in like, well, you're going to have to put in a little more effort than I think what we've gotten used to putting into video games in some cases. So it is difficult. It is like challenging on a mechanical level, which I find the mechanics very fun, but then I also find the philosophy of like the world building and like how the story is told, which I know drives some people crazy because some people argue like there is no story.
Yeah.
There is. It's just it's really hard to figure out, and sometimes you got to watch a few YouTubes, but I don't know.
No, I feel like I've definitely noticed that because, like, I don't know, I was super into video games, like middle schoolish, and then I took a big break until I like got out of college, and now I've like dove back in.
Yeah, I was similar to that.
I do feel like there's a big shift in like games used to reward like ability, and now it's like all about time spent. Like,
right.
The more you spend with your character, the more times you dump into it, the more you're going to get out of this game. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like the whole World of Warcraft or like the Sims.
Yes, broke the game industry.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of what happened is that everyone wanted... That game's still going for some reason. Like, they haven't even made World of Warcraft 2 yet. They've still got...
They don't have to.
No.
It feels more and more like whether it's video game companies or movie studios, there's this trend of companies basically wanting you to pay for the same thing over and over again, whether it's buying a new version of the same game or new characters or new levels
or a subscription.
Right. They don't actually want us to own anything. They want us as lifelong renters or subscribers. It's like content feudalism.
Yeah. We're paying Pro Tools every year to...
Right. Adobe just got sued because their subscription service is like intentionally hard to get out of.
Yes.
So the Department of Justice stepped in.
That's honestly fair, because I did have a thing where I signed up through a school account where it was free, but then it started charging me, and I didn't know it.
Mine was hard to get out of too.
There's early cancellation fees, all the stuff. You have to go for a whole nother year.
And that happens to a lot of people. The student email thing is particularly stupid because like, a lot of schools shut down your email after you graduate, after you leave the school, after a certain amount of time, and then you can't cancel your Adobe account that you got through the school for free.
No, I hate that shit.
It's pretty wicked.
That's why I still have my old 2008 Mac with all my old Adobe shit on it.
I get it,
I don't want to
dude.
get the Creative Suite.
Yeah.
It sucks. That's why I got all my DVDs.
You can't.
That's a bridge too far.
Man.
It's a bridge too far.
No. Honestly, I've been thinking about it more and more lately, and I am getting a little freaked out. I decided that I am gonna probably start putting together an essentials collection of like DVD.
The Max Hatlam Essentials collection.
Yes, the Criterion.
So, today on the show, we have joining us from Virginity, singer, guitarist, Casey Crawford. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yo, thanks for having me, man.
Just to get the dad question out of the way,
sure.
What process went into the Virginity band name?
So that process was we were making the record, and it became apparent that it would actually come out and that I would have to call it something. I made a post and I was like, somebody help me think of band names. And my buddy Shaw Smith, who is a comedian here in Orlando, Florida, suggested a bunch, but one of them was Virginity. And me and Jim, our drummer, were like, it's kind of funny. And that's it.
That was it.
That's how quick we make bad decisions here.
So there wasn't even like a close runner-up?
No, I feel like we didn't even really bounce around a lot of things. Like, I'm sure a couple of things were like, maybe this, and we were like, no, that sucks. But band names are bad inherently when you really think about them. When you take away the context of the music and just think about whatever stupid fucking words people mishmash together to get something, they're all bad.
Yeah. For sure. So you guys are Florida natives. Are you close enough proximity wise to have grown up with like the fest and No Idea Records to influence you guys coming up?
Yeah, I would say that. So we're all about 2 hours from Gainesville.
Okay, cool.
And it's funny because I was into punk in high school and Fest was definitely going at some point in that time, but I was never even aware of it until I was like, I don't know, into my mid 20s, I feel like is the first time I ever heard anybody brought it up. And I saw bands that play, like I saw Against Me here where I live in Daytona Beach
Yeah.
in a 30 cap coffee shop on Seabreeze.
Right.
Like I should have known about it, but somehow didn't. So it didn't for me really, but I think it definitely did our bass player Jordan. He's been to most of them.
Gotcha. Is there any like light switch moment for you going to shows and like being exposed to the DIY scene where you're like, this is something I not only want to consume, but participate in?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like, so in Daytona in the early 2000s, the biggest music scene that there was a hardcore scene.
Right.
So all of my friends were hardcore kids, and I was a very sugary pop punk kid, but
Right.
I wanted to go to where my friends were going. So I went to a show, and the first show I ever went to, my friend Shane's band played, called Virginia is for Lovers. I think it was his first show with them.
Okay.
And I just remember watching him on stage and just being like, that's fucking Shane. And it was a sort of like, I have this revelation every so often with anything I get involved in where I go, oh my God, it's just people.
Right. It makes it a lot more accessible when it's just like your buddy in a basement.
Yeah. And then from that moment on, like my goal was like, I want to be in a band. I want to play. I want to play a show here at this place, which I did many times.
What was your first band called?
Aurora.
Aurora. Nice.
So that first band was my first 3 bands, but every time we would break up and reform without one of the people who we just couldn't stand anymore.
Gotcha.
So it was mostly the same group of guys. So it goes Aurora, Better Off, Beautiful. Well, that's a bad one, but here comes the worst one. Boy Meets Heart.
Boy Meets Heart. That's a good one.
Oof.
That's definitely in some MySpace top 8s.
It's making my stomach hurt thinking about it.
It's kind of funny you'd bring up like the whole term punk. It feels like people are afraid to use that anymore. Everybody's pivoted to emo, whereas like the era you're talking about, emo was the derogatory term and nobody wanted to be called emo.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's funny to have been in a scene. I'm now sounding like a real fucking old man, which I guess I am, especially in this world, that I've been involved in it for over 20 years now, to see things like make like a huge swing like that, like watch the whole culture shift. It's funny. It makes it really seem like when you see like the younger kids like really going nuts at each other, you're just like, oh, if you only knew how silly this all was.
Right. You'll look back and laugh.
Yes, they will. It's great. I love it's still going.
So you guys are obviously very 90s influenced with your sound. Do you have like a Mount Rushmore of 90s records that influenced you?
Oh, hell yeah. I wish the other dudes were here so they could pipe in with theirs, but I'll say mine. We're definitely gonna say, I mean, we're just gonna say Super Drag in general, because I would say they're all of their records, which are all in the 90s.
Yeah.
Or at least the 3 best ones are just huge. John Davis is our George Washington.
Okay.
I would say, I know that, you know, our drummer Jim's like favorite band and has been since he was a kid is the Foo Fighters. It's so funny because the Foo Fighters are so huge now.
Yeah.
But there was a time when they were like, even though of course David Bennett, Nirvana and stuff, where they were just like, you know, kind of popular band, pretty popular band.
Right.
They hadn't made him the president of rock and roll yet.
Yeah.
So I would say the Foo Fighters are a huge influence probably for all of us. I mean, they're a good ass band. Those first 3 records are like unstoppable.
Yeah.
What else? 90s bands and albums. I'm trying to think of an album like specifically.
The big debate around here is always Dookie or Blue Album. The Battle of 1994. Which one are you taking?
Oh God. That's the hardest question I've ever been asked. Yeah, so I mean, I'd probably say Blue Album, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, Green Day is so foundational, and so is Dookie. Like, you know, that album specifically for me. But I feel like the Blue album sticks a little harder to me for some reason, even though I didn't really even get into Weezer until a bit later in life, kind of.
Yeah. It's definitely something, again, kind of like looking back on things that, I don't know, was looked down upon at the time. I was like, well, Weezer's not punk. You're listening to like radio rock, but now it's very commonplace. Like everybody, they're the emo gods.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. They're as much as they're loved, they're derided.
Right, for sure.
I heard the drummer once say in an interview somewhere or something. He said, "To be a Weezer fan is to hate Weezer."
Yeah. It's like the Batman quote. You're either die a hero or you live long enough to be the villain. Like if they would have just broke up after Pinkerton, they would have been the heroes forever.
I mean, there's great stuff after Pinkerton.
Yeah.
They got it in them from time to time, but then sometimes I'm just like, my man, please.
That's the frustrating thing when you see the glimpses of it.
So yeah, that's another great '90s record that's definitely a massive influence. Is definitely Blue Album and Pinkerton, really. Rivers is Lincoln.
Yeah.
And then I would say definitely like an influence that I've had more recently, but that's definitely reflected in our most recent stuff is like Guided by Voices.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I within the last 2 years, I've gone down a massive Guided by Voices rabbit hole. I've listened to it all, and that's a lot. I read a book about it, and yeah, like that's definitely massive '90s stuff. That's an influence, at least coming from a writing angle for me.
So I saw you guys contributed to that wonderful comp, which had like a whole bunch of that era, like one-hit wonder bands. Do you have any specific where you're like, I swear this one record is great. Nobody else has heard of them after this. But like, if you listen to this one Toadies album or this one Harvey Danger record.
I mean, for me, so it's funny because we've now done a song with this band and we're kind of friends as Eve Six.
Oh, nice.
But like, I have been in Eve Six. Eve Six is foundational.
Yeah.
There's like a year I spent, so my parents are divorced and my dad lives in Louisiana. And we live here in Florida.
Okay.
But for 1 year of my life in 7th grade, I went to live with my dad. Who can say why? I knew he sucked. I still did it. But that was the year that I got into like music. I started playing guitar. I discovered like Blink-182. And so I had like 4 CDs and they were the Blink-182 live album, the Green Day Nimrod, actually.
Nice. Okay.
Which is my favorite one.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, the first Reliant K record. Of course, I was a little Christian boy, so I naturally I had Reliant K. And Eve Six, their second record called Horoscope.
Okay.
There's not a lot of people out batting for Horoscope, but I'm here to tell you that it is so good. It's one of my favorite records of all time. I love it, and I like almost all of their stuff, to be honest. They're one of my favorite bands. Great band.
Nice. Yeah, I recognize the album art. I remember it coming out. I don't think I listened to the full thing. Here's to the Night was the single.
Yeah, Here's to the Night was the bigger single. That one got on TRL and was everybody's prom song for 2 years.
Right.
Even though it's about a one-night stand.
Right. It's one of those.
And then the other single that was not as popular was Promise, which is a fucking banger.
Okay. So you personally, when it comes to making music, do you prefer the live experience and getting that energy from the crowd or putting stuff down in the studio and creating albums?
I mean, I love doing both things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really been enjoying playing live lately. But I think probably, like getting stuff down, like the collaboration process, which was like super heavy on the record that's coming out soon. It was like the most fun I ever had making music.
Awesome.
Just working all the songs out with the dudes and just like best idea wins.
Nice.
Working it out. And it was, just a blast.
So how do you go about the writing process to make sure it is more democratic, where everybody gets a voice? Do you kind of come with ideas and cobble things together, or what's that process look like?
Yeah, that's what it looks like now. For Bad Jazz, I would come in with really rough demos, just like live in the room, me with an acoustic, and not even a whole song, like a verse, melody, and a chorus maybe,
Yeah.
and maybe just like a little riff or something. And then that's what I brought to the group. And we were getting together and spending weekends at our bass player Jordan's house. And we would literally play for like 18 hours a day or something, like just like nonstop working on things. And we did that like 3 or 4 times. And that's pretty much how we wrote the record. And so, yeah. And then we would just sort of build from that, whatever shitty little demo I had brought, and just go from there. And sometimes we would sort of naturally find something and we would be like, this is great. And then other times people would have specific ideas, and really it would kind of come down to whoever was like the most passionate. Really, I feel like you'd be like, I can't fight that hard, it's got to be this, it must be this.
Gotcha. That's a fair way to go about it.
Yeah, man.
So like throughout that whole process, is there like an incubation period where like you allow changes to happen and you have to like cut yourself off so you don't tinker too long or things get stale?
Well, yeah. I mean, and especially for this record, we recorded it live.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's the first time we've ever done that. And yeah, we just got a wild hair because we watched that Beatles documentary.
Yeah.
And we were like, we got to record it live. So, I mean, things were changing up to the point where we were like, I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Like one of the second song on the record, Some Hard Feelings, like I don't think we were all like totally settled on when we were like, okay, it's time to record it. And, over the course of getting it done, like we finally were like, okay, this is it. So there was many incubation periods. And because we had the songs, I think we started that writing process almost or a little over 2 years ago now.
Okay.
So we've been playing some of these songs live for 2 years.
Nice.
And stuff. So things would change as we would find little parts here, little parts there, whatever, nip tuck. So it was constantly changing.
Yeah, the record's awesome, by the way. I was really happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys are as well.
Yeah, man, we're really stoked with how it came out. We did it all ourselves. Most of that credit goes to our drummer Jim, who is our producer,
nice
engineer extraordinaire. And he recorded it all. He engineered it, mixed it, everything except for mastering.
It sounds clean as hell. I can't believe you guys did that live.
Thanks, man. I mean, of course, we overdub things here and there if something needed a little more balls on it or whatever. But
yeah,
but I mean, the bass tracks are just whatever happened in the room. We generally did 10 takes of every song.
Yeah,
the song "Any Good Thing," which is a single we just put out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
we recorded that like I don't know. It was probably like midnight.
Oh, really?
Or 1 a.m. Chris, our guitar player, was like half asleep.
Nice.
Sitting in this chair, and he did not play the same guitar part any of those 10 times. We just picked one that we were like, that one's great. I mean, they were all great takes.
Yeah.
It's a simple tune, but no real plan, just going at it.
Well, the vocal melodies are so prominent. Like, are you figuring out how you want the lyrics and the vocals to go before you lay in the guitars, or how does your songwriting go?
I mean, generally the way I start to write a song is some little phrase will stick in my craw, and I'll write it down and I'll keep thinking about it, and then I will start kind of mumble singing that and finding however I want, no matter how minuscule it is, however I want those words to sound. And I'll sort of build around that on either side and go from there. I'll be holding an acoustic while I do this, so I'm figuring out chords as I go. Or sometimes I'll just have some words and I'll mash them into a melody because I wrote a riff I like or whatever.
Yeah. So when you guys are kind of this self-contained DIY outfit, how do you go about selecting what you want to put out as the single for your record?
Oh, hotly contested the singles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took us for fucking ever. Like we could not nail it down. We were changing it the night. Like they were like, you have to tell us now. So yeah, I mean, how we did it is badly.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately we were just like, I don't know, go those ones.
Well, there are a lot that like really do get your hooks in. Like I listening to it myself, it was hard to pick a standout track just listening to it. That's why I was curious what you guys wanted to lead with.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take that as a huge compliment, and thank you. I agree, and that was the problem. Is it's so that sounds so fucked up to say, to be like, they just bang. I don't know. Uh,
That's better
yeah,
than I don't know. I don't want any of these to go out. The alternative is a lot more bleak.
and that's why I feel so good about the record, is because I would have been happy, honestly, at the end of the day, leading with any of them.
Hmm.
Like I love all these songs, and like these are 11 songs, but what we wrote was like 18 or 19,
Oh, okay.
and we love those songs too. And those are gonna probably come out, and some of them are kind of already a little bit tracked. But these were the 11 that we were like, this is the fucking cream of the crop.
Did you have like a set number you wanted to hit? Like, let's go home, listen, and pick out our 10 favorite, or it was just let's pick the best, and if it's 10, it's 10. If it's 15, it's 15.
I think we were shooting for 10,
Okay.
and then we ultimately decided to go with 11 because so some of the tracks that will come out later we didn't get in the room because of whatever reason, time constraints. We only had so much time to do this stuff. We did it all in 8 days.
Oh, gotcha.
And so we were like, let's, like, what we got in the room was 11. And we were like, well, let's just go with all the live ones.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, you said you've been playing these now for 2 years or so. Is there like an itch to start on the next thing, or do you got to kind of allow yourselves to breathe and just enjoy this for what it is before you like burn yourself out on trying to write another record right after releasing the previous?
Yeah, I mean, I'm writing.
Oh, right on.
Like, we're not writing. I'm at the part where, if we do it like we did it this past time, I'm at the part where I'm building the shitty demos that I'll hand them. So I'm already going at it. And I have been for a while. I take very few breaks.
Gotcha. Yeah, I noticed on I think it was the outro on the closing track and Swinging South also. There's like this hard edge just for like a taste. Like, is that a glimpse of like where you want to push your band into getting a little harder, or?
No, I think we'll probably get softer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's where I'm trending.
Yeah.
But that's through my lens. Once I get in the room with the boys,
Yeah.
who knows? Things take a turn.
Is it ever like a concentrated decision, or is it just kind of like, let's see what feels right for the band?
Yeah, and what feels right for the song.
Yeah.
Like, go by song basis. I don't want to be married to a sound.
Right.
I like a lot of different things, and I want to reflect that.
For sure. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, the record Bad Jazz comes out June 28th. It's awesome. Really dig it. You told me it's a thinly veiled reference to That Thing You Do, which I had never
That's true.
I had never seen before, so I watched it just to prep. Good movie.
Great. The best movie.
Is that your favorite music movie?
It's my favorite movie.
Favorite movie ever.
Favorite movie ever. I mean, I could watch it every day, I feel like. And when I was in middle school, I fucking did. Like, I would put on every night as I went to bed. I would set my little sleep timer on my TV, and I would put on That Thing You Do every single night for like 2 years. Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time. Yeah, if I'm feeling bad, I can throw on that movie and I'm going to feel good.
It's got to be one of the best like fictional band songs also. Like, that song slaps.
I mean,
it's
so
great.
Fucking good. Yeah, I mean, it was written by Adam Schlesinger of Fountains of Wayne.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, that dude can write a fucking good ass pop song. So,
yeah, definitely. So do you yourself have any mosh pit war stories, like the fire extinguisher going off in the dance hall scene?
Oh no, I was far too soft a boy for any of that, any of those shenanigans. I would stand back and be like, I don't want to be hurt. I've actually got more physical in my older age. It shows not physical. I'm not in the fucking mosh pit, but I rock a little harder.
Yeah. So what is like the weirdest venue you guys have played?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the weirdest place we've ever played is this place in here in Florida called Melbourne.
Okay.
The place is called Pineapples.
Okay.
Which are already a great start.
Yeah.
It's a restaurant.
Okay.
It's 3 stories tall. Bottom floor is like a regular restaurant. Top is like a fancy cocktail bar. Middle is a bar and like a venue type deal with a stage.
Okay.
And yeah, the vibe on that place was fucking so bizarre. Just like, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like a terrible place to have a rock show. Like it seems like a great place to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, Pineapple sounds like a stand-up comedy bar.
But it was like us and like our friends the Pauses, who were like a great sort of like techie alternative pop band, and then this like sort of tappy emo band.
Okay.
And it was just weird. And like wait staff is walking by. There's a lot of people there that are regular, like they have no idea a show is going to be happening there, and it's weird. Yeah.
They're just there for dinner.
Yeah. Bizarre show. It was still fine. Like I remember it being a fine show, but I remember just being like, the vibes of this place are wild, dude.
So you also mentioned you're used to be a pretty avid comic book reader.
I did.
Have you hit like comic book movie fatigue with all the Marvel stuff? Or are you still there?
Yeah. I could not give more of a shit at this point. Like I don't give a fuck. They should have ended it in the second part of Infinity War.
Yeah, right.
What a beautiful crescendo it would have been to an unprecedented amount of films intertwined in all one continuity. A feat.
Right.
And they're all pretty fucking good. And then they just blew it. And I feel like they lost the plot when they stopped. I feel like they had like this plan of like Winter Soldier, for example. They were like, this is like our espionage spy thriller.
Right.
And the characters happen to be Captain America. Like they would just pick a thing and do it.
Yeah.
But with those characters. And I feel like suddenly they were like, this is a Marvel movie now.
Yeah.
What we're making is what we've already made.
Right.
It was great for a while. And occasionally, if people are going nuts about something, I'll check it out and see. Sometimes they can still pull out something all right. But yeah, mostly I don't care.
Who's your favorite characters?
In just comic books in general?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're sticking to like, you know, our big two, DC, Marvel, I mean, of course, I'm going to say Batman. Who the fuck doesn't like Batman, though?
Right, right.
So I'll be more interesting than that. And I'll say that my favorite DC character is really actually Green Arrow.
Okay, gotcha.
I fucking love Green Arrow. The run from like 2001 to like 2010, I have all of it. It is, yeah, it's one of my favorite comic book runs of all time. Green Arrow rocks, underappreciated character. They gave him a TV show, which went on for a long time, but it wasn't great.
Oh, yeah, that was like CW, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
watched it too, because like I said, I love Green Arrow.
Right.
And occasionally, and what would keep me there is every time I would be like, oh my God, I can't anymore. They would do something that would give me such a fucking rock hard nerd boner that I'd be like, oh my God, I can't even believe they're doing this character. This is nuts. So that's how they kept me for a while.
They strung you along.
And the Flash show was actually pretty just straight up good. It's just like a pretty good Flash show.
I've heard that.
But anyways, yeah, Green Arrow, one of my favorites. And then Marvel, I would probably say the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Are my favorite characters. Yeah, I read the entire OG Stan and Jack run.
Oh, nice.
Which is like 150 something issues.
Yeah.
And man, in it, a universe is built. It's really wild. They were the first Marvel characters.
Right.
So yeah, it's a great run. And then I read lots of other stuff. The Jonathan Hickman run from like the mid 2000s. One of the greatest comic book runs of all time. I sobbed like a baby at the end of it. It's so good.
Have you been keeping up with the casting of that new movie?
Yeah, and I feel pretty good about it.
Even though the past movies make me reluctant.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good. They're making it a genre piece, right? I feel like I read that somewhere.
I'm not sure. I've just been keeping up with like them
that it was
trickling out each person they've cast one by one.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the next phase is supposed to be all Fantastic Four and X-Men focused. So they're trying to rehab the Fox properties that Disney bought.
Which I think is a bonker. I mean, definitely do the Fantastic Four because they haven't really been done, justice yet.
Right.
And hopefully they will do a good job. But yeah, like it's so crazy to do the X-Men. Like,
yeah,
they should go. Fucking Hugh Jackman should be in the ground before someone else fucking plays Wolverine.
Yeah, as burnt out as I am with the superhero stuff, I am excited to see him back with Deadpool. Like that's the only thing that's gotten me excited for Marvel in a while.
The picture of him in that costume,
just the yellow suit.
I'm just like, I can't believe it's happening. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing that'll get me in the door.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, Bad Jazz, the new record comes out June 28th. You guys are going to be playing Fest 22.
We will be at Fest.
How many times have you guys played Fest?
This will be our 4th or 5th year.
5th year?
I can't remember if it's our 4th or 5th because COVID's fucking me all up.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
It's one of those. And then one of them I only played a little bit of the set because I hurt myself.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that. While you were playing?
Oh, yeah, you don't know about that? That's amazing.
I have not heard the legend.
The legend. Yeah, 4.5 songs into our set at Fest 20, we were closing out the show at the Woolly, which is a great venue in Gainesville.
Yeah.
For no great reason at all, my right kneecap took a trip over to the side of my leg.
Oh, shit.
And so I hit the ground pretty hard and I couldn't straighten my leg and I had to be evac'd out.
Oh, damn.
And it was like Halloween night in Gainesville, a college town. So
yeah,
it took for fucking ever for the ambulance to get there. And then for us to get to the hospital. It was a nightmare. I had to do months of PT.
I'm sorry, man.
But it was also like that part sucked. But what was like wonderful was how uplifting everyone at Fest was, and like all these bands. Like I was so fucking embarrassed. Like I felt like, oh my God, you're an old man and you hurt yourself on stage because you were up past 1. But like the first tweet I saw, and I got a lot that day, was they were just like, we got you, rock god. Like,
there you go, shit. Man.
Like, so everybody took like a positive bent to it, and we made like a special like 7-inch record of a cover of a Super Drag song, and with this art our drummer had done of like a time bomb strapped to my knee.
Oh, nice.
And that helped me cover a lot of medical expenses, which so it was it sucked ass, but like the way everybody was like being so kind was like kind of great also.
Yeah, definitely. It's an awesome community. It's an awesome time down there. So should be a good time, man. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before we get you out of here?
No, I don't think so.
Records out June 28th.
Just the record.
Yep. What's your preferred method of getting you the money directly as opposed to Spotify or iTunes or any of that stuff? Straight to Bandcamp?
You can go Bandcamp or you can just go to the Smart Punk website.
Oh, right on.
There's also a rough trade variant. You can get it from there. There's only like 100 of those or something.
Oh, nice.
So you can go to the rough trade website. I got to figure out how to get my fucking hands on one of those. I need one. I don't want to pay for it though.
Right. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, great job with the record. Loved it.
Appreciate it, man.
Can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me on, man.
For sure, man. It's a blast. Thanks for coming on.
For more, visit internetkilledthevideostore.com.